Chapter 1. The Secret Ceremony. The crystal towers of Seraphis Prime rose like shards of a fractured star, their facets catching the light of the nearby twin suns and scattering it in dazzling rainbows across the polished marble floors of the palace. Inside, the air shimmered with an almost tangible anticipation, charged with a tension that was both intoxicating and nerve-wracking. Commander Alex Ryden, the first human ever granted permission to enter this sacred place, felt the weight of every gaze upon him, the curious, the skeptical, the reverent. His footsteps echoed softly as he was led deeper into the heart of the palace, his pulse quickening not only from the grandeur surrounding him, but from the knowledge that the ceremony he was about to witness was unlike anything he had ever imagined. Alex's skin prickled under the scrutiny of alien courtiers whose skin glistened with iridescent hues, silvers, blues, and opals shimmering beneath the intricate tattoos that marked their heritage. These were the Zalthar, a race both feared and admired throughout the galaxy for their mastery of psionics and their profound spiritual traditions. Their culture was layered with secrets, rituals performed for millennia behind veils of sacred silence. And tonight, Alex was to be not just an observer, but a participant in the unfolding of one such ritual. The corridor ended at an ornate set of double doors, crafted from a single piece of flawless amethyst. The guards stationed there, tall and regal with piercing violet eyes, bowed slightly as Lyra approached the alien princess who had summoned Alex here. She moved with an ethereal grace, her presence commanding yet delicate, a living embodiment of the beauty and mysticism of her people. Her gown flowed like liquid starlight, woven from the silks of the native Seraphis moths, shimmering and translucent, revealing the subtle patterns traced along her skin, a map of her lineage and her bond to the planet itself. "No peeking," Lyra whispered with a playful smile, her voice a melodic blend of warmth and authority as she stepped forward and began to remove the layers of her dress. Each movement was deliberate and ritualistic, a sacred dance of vulnerability and trust that transcended words. The courtiers present lowered their eyes respectfully, aware that this moment was not for their gaze, but for the intimate communion about to take place between the princess and her human guest. As the fabric slipped away, Alex's breath caught. Lyra's skin glowed softly in the ambient light, the ancient markings, runes, and sigils passed down through generations, pulsing faintly with an inner light. They were not merely decorative but living symbols, telling stories of her ancestors, her sacred duties, and the spiritual power that coursed through her veins. Her eyes locked with Alex's, daring him to see beyond the physical and into the depths of her being. The doors sealed behind them, cutting off the murmurs of the court and leaving the chamber bathed in a soft, otherworldly glow. The ceremony began not with chants or songs, but with a shared silence, a quiet acknowledgement of the bond forming between two souls from vastly different worlds. Lyra reached out, her fingers tracing invisible patterns in the air that shimmered into faint holographic sigils. Alex, unsure but entranced, mirrored her movements as best he could, feeling a connection that defied explanation. Time seemed to stretch and fold as they moved together through the ritual dance of mind and spirit, where barriers of language and culture dissolved. Lyra's empathic energy flowed into Alex's consciousness, unlocking memories and emotions long buried, and in return, Alex offered his own thoughts and feelings, raw and unguarded. He saw visions of her childhood beneath the glowing Seraphis moons, the weight of expectations borne with quiet dignity, the fierce loneliness behind her radiant smile. In this sacred space, the human and the alien found a bridge between their worlds. The ceremony was not just a rite of passage for Lyra, but a testament to the power of connection, trust, and the vulnerability required to truly know another. As the ritual drew to a close, the princess leaned close, her breath warm against his ear, and whispered, "No peeking." It was both a tease and a promise that the secrets they shared tonight would bind them beyond words and worlds. Alex stood in awe, his mind alight with wonder and yearning. The night had only just begun, and he sensed that their journey would traverse depths both exhilarating and dangerous. In the heart of the alien palace, beneath stars older than time, two souls reached out across the cosmos, ready to explore the uncharted territories of trust, desire, and the mysteries that lie beyond. Alex's mind raced as Lyra slowly shed the shimmering layers of her gown, each movement deliberate, graceful, and imbued with centuries of ritualistic meaning. The light in the chamber danced across her skin, illuminating the intricate patterns etched like living art, bioluminescent tattoos that shifted hues subtly, telling stories of her lineage and the sacred bonds she held with her planet and her people. As the final fold of silk slipped from her form, a silence fell so profound that even the hum of the distant station seemed to pause. He had seen many alien wonders across the galaxy, cities carved from living rock, creatures with minds that whispered across light years, technologies that bent reality. But nothing had prepared him for this moment of raw vulnerability, woven with unspoken trust and deep connection. Lyra's eyes, shining with a softness and strength unlike anything Alex had ever encountered, met his own. There was no arrogance, no pretense, just the naked truth of a being willing to reveal herself, body and soul. "Do not look away," she said softly, her voice a melody that seemed to resonate within his very bones. "Not yet." He swallowed hard, the anticipation swirling through him like a starstorm. This was a dance older than the stars themselves, a rite that transcended species, bridging worlds not through words, but through shared vulnerability and unspoken promises. Alex felt the weight of that trust settle over him, an invitation to see beyond the surface, to understand the depths that lay hidden beneath her luminous skin. The chamber around them was alive with subtle energy. Holographic sigils traced gentle arcs in the air, responding to Lyra's will, glowing faintly as if breathing alongside her. The soft pulse of alien technology blended seamlessly with the natural aura emanating from her, creating a sacred space where past, present, and future intertwined. Alex stepped closer, drawn not just by desire, but by the profound honor of being allowed into this sacred moment. As their hands met, a spark of connection ignited, a bridge between two disparate souls navigating the vast unknown of each other's worlds. Lyra's touch was electric and tender, sending ripples of warmth cascading through him. In that instant, Alex understood that this ceremony was not merely a physical unveiling, but a merging of trust and destiny. The ritual deepened as Lyra began to hum an ancient melody, a sound that resonated with the very core of the palace. It was a language without words, speaking directly to the heart and mind. Alex closed his eyes, letting the vibrations wash over him, and in that silence, he glimpsed the threads that bound her, her hopes, fears, and an unwavering duty that stretched back through generations. When the melody faded, Lyra's gaze softened. "You have seen much tonight, human," she said with a shy smile. "But the journey has only just begun." She reached into a small crystal vial at her side, uncorking it to release a faintly glowing mist. "Drink, and let the bond deepen." Alex took the vial with a mixture of curiosity and reverence, the cool liquid sliding down his throat like starlight itself. A warmth blossomed inside him, a gentle unlocking of senses and emotions, a preparation for the intimacy that awaited beyond words. Together, they stepped into the unknown, two beings poised to explore the mysteries of trust, passion, and shared destiny. Chapter 2. The Veil of Trust and the Dance of Souls. The moments that followed the ceremony in the crystalline chamber of Seraphis Prime stretched and folded like the fabric of space-time itself, shifting between reality and the realm of raw emotion. Commander Alex Ryden found himself caught in a liminal space between the alien world that was still foreign yet strangely familiar, and the unfathomable depths of connection with Princess Lyra that defied logic and language. The delicate mist from the vial still lingered in his lungs, weaving subtle threads of warmth and clarity through his veins, opening doors in his mind that he had long kept sealed. Lyra's presence beside him was a constant, a soft luminescence that seemed to pulse in time with his own heartbeat. Her eyes held galaxies, swirling with ancient wisdom and fresh curiosity, and as she reached out to take his hand, the simple touch became a conduit for something far greater than either had anticipated, a profound empathy that transcended their physical forms and cultures. It was as though their souls began a dance, weaving in and out of each other's memories, fears, and desires, spinning a tapestry that neither could unravel alone. The palace itself seemed to respond to their union. Crystalline walls shimmered with iridescent hues, echoing the cadence of their breathing, the subtle rhythms of their shared heartbeat. The ambient lights softened, casting patterns reminiscent of waves upon distant oceans, as though the station itself was a living entity, aware of and celebrating this sacred moment. The ambient hum of alien technology melded seamlessly with the natural frequencies emanating from Lyra's empathic core, creating a harmony that enveloped them in a sanctuary of intimacy and trust. Alex's mind flooded with visions not his own, but shared through Lyra's empathic gift. He saw flashes of her childhood beneath the twin moons of Seraphis Prime, days filled with rigorous training and quiet moments stolen beneath the starlit skies. He glimpsed the weight of her royal duties, the constant scrutiny of 1,000 generations watching and waiting for her to fulfill her destiny. There was loneliness there, a profound isolation born from her unique place in a society bound by tradition and expectation. Yet amidst the shadows, he also saw moments of fierce joy and wild rebellion, a spirit unwilling to be confined by the golden cage of royalty. As the empathic currents wove between them, Alex felt compelled to share his own memories. He delved into the depths of his past years spent navigating the dangerous trade routes of the Outer Rim, the faces of comrades lost to pirate raids and political betrayals, the quiet nights on forgotten outposts where the vastness of space pressed against his soul like an endless void. Lyra listened with unwavering attention, her empathic senses absorbing his pain and hope alike, validating his struggles with a tenderness that made him ache. Their exchange was not merely emotional, but transformative. Through the empathic bond, fears were soothed, doubts replaced with affirmation, and the raw edges of their vulnerabilities softened. Lyra's presence became a beacon, guiding Alex through the labyrinth of his own psyche, helping him confront scars he had long ignored. In turn, Alex's grounded humanity offered Lyra a tether to the present, a reminder that beyond the ancient traditions and cosmic expectations lay the simple, powerful truth of shared existence. Time lost its usual meaning as their souls intertwined. The chamber around them faded into a dreamlike realm where past and future coexisted, where the boundaries between mind and matter blurred. They danced in this space, sometimes silent, sometimes speaking in words unspoken, communicating through shared sensation and emotion. Each touch, each glance was laden with meaning, a promise of trust and devotion that defied the limits of their vastly different origins. Yet amidst this profound connection, a shadow loomed. The political machinations of Seraphis Prime's court, the jealousies and fears of those who viewed Alex's presence as an intrusion, and the threats lurking beyond the palace walls were ever-present reminders that their sanctuary was fragile. Lyra confided in Alex the delicate balance she maintained between duty to her people and the yearning for personal freedom, between ancient laws and the revolutionary potential of their union. Together, they resolved to navigate these treacherous waters, forging alliances and confronting adversaries with the strength drawn from their empathic bond. Alex's pragmatic experience as a commander complemented Lyra's intuitive wisdom, creating a partnership that challenged conventions and sparked hope in a realm resistant to change. As the twin moons of Seraphis Prime rose to bathe the palace in ethereal light, Alex and Lyra prepared to face the trials ahead not as alien and human, princess and outsider, but as two souls united by trust, passion, and the courage to rewrite destiny together. The veil of tradition was lifting, and in its place was the promise of a new era, one where love transcended worlds, and where the dance of souls would chart the course of the stars themselves. Chapter 3: The Web of Power and the Strength of Vulnerability. The Palace of Seraphis Prime, with its crystalline towers piercing the swirling mists of the twilight sky, was a place where the line between beauty and danger blurred like the shifting light on its multifaceted walls. Within these hallowed halls, alliances were forged and broken in whispers. Destinies were shaped by the subtle interplay of power, loyalty, and secret desire. For Princess Lyra and Commander Alex Ryden, the sanctuary of their bond was increasingly threatened by the relentless tides of politics and intrigue that sought to unravel them. Alex had come to understand the complexities of Seraphis society in ways no human outsider ever had before. The Zaldar were not merely a race of enigmatic grace and mysticism, they were masters of nuance and manipulation, their every gesture loaded with meaning, their words veiled in layers of double entendre and unspoken promise. Lyra, as the royal heir, was at the heart of this intricate dance, a figure both revered and scrutinized, her personal desires often sacrificed to the demands of statecraft and tradition. Their bond, born of that intimate ceremony and deep empathic connection, had become a beacon of hope for those who yearned for change, a symbol that even ancient customs might bend in the face of genuine love and understanding. But for every ally who embraced their union, there were powerful forces plotting their downfall. The Council of Elders, guardians of the old ways, viewed Alex with suspicion and disdain. To them, he was an outsider, a disruptive force whose presence threatened to unsettle the delicate equilibrium that had governed Seraphis for millennia. The palace itself was a labyrinth of shadows, its corridors echoing with secrets and schemes. Alex and Lyra found themselves navigating not just the physical space, but the treacherous currents of loyalty and betrayal. Every audience with the council was a test of wit and resolve. Every conversation with courtiers a dance between truth and deception. Yet, through it all, their empathic bond grew stronger, allowing them to sense danger before it struck, to read the intentions hidden behind polished smiles. One evening, as the twin moons cast a silver glow over the palace gardens, a rare oasis of tranquility amidst the political storm, Alex and Lyra met in a secluded alcove. The air was heavy with the scent of alien blossoms, their petals unfolding slowly in the moonlight. Here, away from prying eyes, they allowed themselves a moment of vulnerability. Lyra's hand found Alex's, their fingers intertwining in a silent affirmation of trust. "You must understand," Lyra said, her voice barely above a whisper, "that my duty is not only to you or to myself, but to a people who expect obedience. To love openly is a rebellion that could cost us everything." Her eyes glistened with unshed tears, the weight of centuries pressing upon her slender shoulders. Alex tightened his grip, his own heart aching with the knowledge of the sacrifices ahead. "We face this together," he promised. "Your people, their traditions, none of it can break what we share. I've fought battles across the stars, but none as important as this." Their moments of peace were shattered when news arrived that the council had summoned Lyra for a vote that could strip her of her claim to the throne, citing her relationship with a human as a betrayal of Zaldar purity and tradition. The decree was swift and harsh, plunging the palace into chaos. Courtiers whispered of rebellion, assassinations, and the fracturing of ancient alliances. Determined to protect Lyra and the future they envisioned, Alex mobilized their allies, disenfranchised nobles, loyal soldiers, and empathic outcasts who saw in their union a chance for renewal. Together, they orchestrated a daring campaign to expose the corruption and hypocrisy within the council, leveraging Vera's empathic reach to uncover secrets and sway public opinion. The battle for the throne was fought not only in council chambers, but in the hearts and minds of the Zaldar people. Speeches echoed through grand halls, debates ignited fierce passions, and the shimmering streets of Seraphis Prime became stages for both protest and celebration. Amidst this turmoil, Lyra's strength shone brightest. She embraced her vulnerability as power, speaking openly of her love for Alex and her vision for a future where tradition and progress walked hand in hand. In a climactic assembly beneath the ancient crystal dome, the council's decree was overturned by a narrow but decisive vote. Lyra's claim to the throne was reaffirmed, not as a concession but as a testament to the resilience of love and the courage to defy convention. The palace erupted in jubilation, a kaleidoscope of light and sound that echoed through the stars. As the celebrations faded into the quiet dawn, Alex and Lyra stood once more in the sacred chamber where their journey had begun. Their hands met, the familiar warmth and electric connection a reminder of the path they had traversed. "No peeking," Lyra teased, a playful glint in her eye. Alex smiled, knowing that while the world might always watch and judge, their bond was a private universe unto itself, a sanctuary where secrets were safe and love was free. Chapter 4. The Unveiling and the Dawn of a New Legacy. The crystalline palace of Seraphis Prime stood bathed in the ethereal glow of twin dawns, its spires catching the first light and fracturing it into a million shimmering fragments that danced like fireflies across the alien sky. The air was thick with the lingering sense of exotic blooms and the faint hum of ancient energies coursing through the very stones beneath their feet. It was a morning unlike any other day that would mark the culmination of trials, the unraveling of secrets, and the forging of a future born from courage, trust, and profound love. Princess Lyra moved with the grace of a star's pulse, each step measured and deliberate, her skin radiant beneath the delicate robes that whispered of tradition and destiny. Beside her, Commander Alex Ryden stood steadfast, the human outsider transformed by the journey they had shared into a figure of quiet strength and unwavering devotion. Together, they walked through the palace halls that had witnessed centuries of history, both glorious and dark, knowing that today, their own story would be etched into the annals of the Zaldar forever. The chamber they entered was a sanctum of light and shadow, its walls adorned with luminous glyphs that told tales of ancestors who had shaped the cosmos with wisdom and will. At the center stood the sacred altar, a crystalline dais pulsing with energy that responded to the presence of those who approached. It was here that Lyra would perform the final rite of the ceremony begun months before, a ritual that bound not only her fate, but that of her people to the unbreakable bond she shared with Alex. "No peeking," Lyra said softly, her voice a blend of playful command and sacred invocation as she began to remove her ceremonial robes. The gesture was a reclaiming of self, a shedding of the weight of expectation to reveal the truth beneath. As the layers fell away, her skin shimmered like liquid starlight, the bioluminescent tattoos glowing brighter with the surge of ancestral power awakening within her. Alex's breath caught, not merely from the physical beauty revealed, but from the profound vulnerability and strength that radiated from her. These markings were not mere decoration, they were the language of her lineage, a map of power, love, and sacrifice woven into flesh and spirit. As she turned to face him fully, her eyes held the promise of 1,000 unspoken words and the weight of a destiny now shared. The ritual began with a harmonic chant, ancient and resonant, that filled the chamber with waves of energy both seen and felt. Lyra extended her hands, and streams of light wove between her fingertips and Alex's, intertwining their essences in a dance of soul and mind. The empathic bond that had grown between them now blossomed into its full form, a luminous thread connecting their hearts and thoughts beyond the limits of language or time. Within this sacred communion, Alex experienced visions, echoes of Lyra's past, the trials she had faced, the loneliness born of crown and duty. He saw her hopes for a future where tradition and change coexisted, where love was a force of unity rather than division. In turn, Lyra glimpsed his own journey, the battles fought, the losses endured, and the fierce desire to protect not just her, but the fragile trust they had nurtured. The energy around them crescendoed, bathing the chamber in radiant light that seemed to dissolve the boundaries between self and other, between human and alien. It was a moment suspended beyond time, a fusion of two souls pledging allegiance not just to each other, but to a vision of a future forged in understanding and respect. As the ritual reached its zenith, the chamber doors opened to the assembled court and people of Seraphis Prime. Gasps of awe rippled through the crowd as the princess and her human consort stood united, their bond visible in the radiant aura enveloping them. The elders, once wary and divided, bowed in solemn recognition, their skepticism transformed into reverence. Lyra stepped forward to address her people, her voice clear and unwavering. She spoke of love's power to transcend boundaries, of courage to defy convention, and of the strength found in embracing both heritage and change. Her words resonated like a beacon, lighting the way toward a new era for the Zaldar One, where unity was born from diversity, and the future was shaped by the harmony of hearts. Alex, standing beside her, felt the weight of the moment settle into a quiet joy. The journey from outsider to beloved consort had been fraught with peril and doubt, but here, in this crystalline sanctuary, it was made whole. Their love, once secret and fragile, now stood as a pillar of hope, a testament to the transformative power of trust and vulnerability. As the sun rose fully over Seraphis Prime, flooding the palace with golden light, celebrations erupted throughout the city. The people danced beneath alien stars, their voices lifted in song and joy. The story of the human and the alien princess would be told for generations, a legend of courage, passion, and the breaking of barriers. In the quiet aftermath, Alex and Lyra returned to the chamber, their hands entwined, their hearts beating as one. "No peeking," Lyra whispered with a smile, echoing the words that had begun this journey. But now, the secret they shared was no longer a source of mystery or fear. It was a promise of love unbound and a future yet to be written. Together, they stepped into the dawn of a new legacy, where the infinite cosmos awaited not just exploration, but the deep connection between souls, shining brighter than any star. The crystalline chamber of Seraphis Prime shimmered under the soft illumination of bioluminescent glyphs etched into the walls, casting a gentle, prismatic glow that seemed to pulse in rhythm with the heartbeat of the ancient palace. The weight of history pressed softly but insistently around Alex and Lyra as they stood entwined, their joined hands glowing faintly with the energy of the sacred bond they had forged. The moment was both intimate and monumental, a nexus where two worlds converged in trust, vulnerability, and love. Lyra's gaze held a mixture of reverence and mischief as she leaned in, her breath warm against Alex's ear. "No peeking," she whispered, the words now a secret joke between them, once a playful admonition, now a cherished reminder of the journey that had brought them here. Their eyes met, and in that exchange lay the unspoken promise that all barriers had fallen. Nothing remained hidden between them. Around them, the court had gathered, faces once skeptical now softened by awe and acceptance. The elders stepped forward, voices rising in harmonious chant, invoking blessings upon the union that symbolized not just personal love, but the dawn of a new era for the Zaldar. The alien attendees, resplendent in their intricate attire and glowing markings, watched as their princess and her human consort embodied the future, a future where tradition embraced change, where unity blossomed from difference. Alex's heart swelled with a profound sense of belonging. The once distant and alien world now felt like home, not because of the grandeur or the mysticism, but because of the people who had opened their hearts and the woman whose love had transformed him. He traced the delicate lines of Lyra's glowing tattoos, each one a story, a promise, a link to her ancestors and to the cosmos itself. The ceremony culminated in a radiant explosion of light and sound, the chamber vibrating with the combined power of ancient rites and newfound passion. Energy cascaded through the space, binding Alex and Lyra in a psychic embrace that sealed their union beyond the physical realm. It was a melding of minds and souls, a cosmic dance that echoed through the palace and into the star-studded night. As the light dimmed and the music softened, the people erupted into joyous celebration. The air filled with the scent of exotic flowers and the sound of laughter and song, a festival honoring love's triumph over fear and convention. Alex and Lyra moved through the crowd, their smiles radiant, their steps light. They were no longer simply human and alien. They were partners, leaders, and symbols of a future forged in trust and courage. Later, beneath the vast dome that framed the endless cosmos, they stood hand in hand, gazing at the swirling galaxies. "No peeking," Lyra said again, her voice soft with affection. "Not because there's anything to hide, but because some things are ours alone." Alex smiled, drawing her close. "Then let's keep them that way, our secret, our strength, our love." Together, they faced the infinite stars, ready to write their story among them, an eternal testament to the power of vulnerability, the courage to embrace the unknown, and the unbreakable bond between two souls who dared to see, truly see, each other.